Hello viewers, welcome to Only Smith Stuff, your premier automotive YouTube channel on fixing cars and cars in general. Today we're bringing you a bit of a different video than some of our previous ones. We're going to be doing a mod review on the 2015 Subaru Impreza that is in our fleet here. This car we've had for about over a year now, and we've done some extensive work to it between modifying it and just keeping up with maintenance on it. Like for example, we just recently put a brand new clutch in it because that had went out from the previous owners, and a lot of fun stuff that we've done to the car. Very fun to drive every day and very good at getting you from place to place and doing it with a smile on your face. So we just wanted to go over a few of the pros, some of the cons, some of the things that you should be aware of if you own one of these vehicles or one of the XV Crosstreks, because they're the same thing. But yeah, we just want to go over that today and give you some of our reasons as to why we really have enjoyed having this in our fleet for the past year. So the first cool little factoid about this specific version of the car is that this one has the Sport package on it. So the Sport package came with 17-inch wheels, as well as these roof bars, roof rails, I don't know what they're called. Basically the thing that you can put your crossbars and your roof rack up on top of. And it makes the car look, honestly, in my opinion, quite a bit nicer, and this one came with it, thankfully. So next we move on to the interior of the Impreza. Now, my favorite part about the interior of this car is how retro and sporty it kind of is. It's extremely minimalistic and very similar to a lot of older Japanese cars. So it's not going to blow you away with luxury or premium quality or anything necessarily like that, but it's a very retro interior that gets the job done, and if you get the nicer packages on it, it still is really nice, honestly. The cloth seats get the job done, and there's a nice leather-wrapped shift knob. I've swapped it out with my personal selection for shift knob, which is this nice Momo one that's a half aluminum, half leather that I really like a lot. My dad had this in one of his old cars, and I just really fell in love with it since I was a kid, so I decided to pay homage to that by putting it in my car as well. Steering wheel is nothing to write home about. It's just a nice leather texture, and everything gets the job done. One thing that I have done is that I've swapped out the head unit for a nice Sony one. I don't know the exact number, so I apologize, but it has the Apple CarPlay and the maps that I need, and it super cleanly fits in with the previous head unit and where it would go, which has been a great help for me when I'm trying to get around places that I don't really want to be looking down at my phone all the time. So I can just look here and I have my maps and my music and everything works fine with it. And I also got this scan gauge right here. So this is specifically the Scan Gauge 3. This one gives me all of my vehicle diagnostics. So my car specifically doesn't have a coolant temperature gauge or anything like that. So I got that specifically so I could make sure that all of my temperatures were running great, and that it also gives you things like gas mileage and can check your engine codes, which are very useful to know as well. So honestly, the interior is one of my favorite parts about the car, which is great because I spend so much time behind the wheel. You know, it's good to be able to enjoy it and appreciate it for what it is. All right, now moving on to the back of the car, I have some of my, I would say, favorite stuff on the back. The few things I have done on the back here, there's not a ton of them, but I do really like what I've done with it. So, I mean, I just have like, small stuff like a sticker. I blacked out the emblems on the back here. Just small appearance stuff here and there. But there are two bigger things that you probably can immediately tell that I really like. The first one is going to be these Rally Armor mud flaps. I got these relatively recently actually, and I really like how they finished the car a lot. It just looks really clean. It adds a nice kind of finishing look, I guess you could say, on how just the car looks as a whole. And I really like how it looks, kind of going back to the Subaru Rally inspired roots, because this thing handles like a beast off-road. Not the fastest, but it definitely does the job that it was meant to do off-roading. And the second favorite part that I have here is going to be this little guy right here. Now, it doesn't look like anything very much, but it is a Borla axle back exhaust. Now, this was the second mod I ever made to the car, and it's one of my favorite. This thing has been super great. Again, kind of hard to get off. View the pictures and videos of us sawing the old exhaust off because how rusty it is. But getting it off was the hardest part. But dude, this thing is, I have fallen in love with the Borla exhaust on this thing. I don't even remember how I heard about them, but I was determined that I was going to get that exhaust for it. And it's such a nice piece of kit just for the car. It's got wonderful finishes. The welding job's really great in it. We're not sponsored by Borla in any way. I would love to be, but I just really recommend that exhaust. So give them a look if you are considering any exhausts for your car. They make a lot of exhausts for basically everything. They're all made in America, and it's just a really good product. So yeah, I'm super happy with the exhaust. That's, I think, one of my favorite aspects of the entire car that I've added onto it. Bonus thing too is that the exhaust likes to pop. I don't know if I have any B-roll footage of the popping exhaust, because I really am the only person who drives this car primarily, but I probably have it somewhere, so let's hope we do. If not, I'm gonna look like a complete fool. So all right, so moving on to the engine bay, I have done very little in terms of engine modifications. Performance modifications in general I've done very little of, but just some smaller stuff here and there. So, you know, I just painted the pulley cover red just because it's red, and it's like, why not? Second biggest thing is going to be the K&N cold air intake on here. It comes with all of this housing. So from here down to the air filter, it's all completely different, and it is quite loud, honestly. I really like the sound of it. It is like, oh. That was the first mod I actually did to the car, was the intake, and it's definitely like one of my favorite parts about it. I say that about everything I've done to it, but I like the car as a whole, in case you couldn't tell. So I really like the sound that it makes combined with the exhaust, so it's just like the perfect combination. And it's not very loud all the time. It's only like when you want it to be loud, when you step on it, so it's just perfect for driving it every single day. One of the more recent modifications I've made into here, though, is this Cusco strut tower bar. Kind of similarly to the sticker in the back and the Momo shift knob. My dad had a Cusco strut tower bar in one of his old cars, so I saw if they made it for mine, which they did, and I said, all right, we're putting it in there. This thing's made a huge difference with the handling. I really actually like how it handles with this so much more than it was factory, so I definitely recommend, if your car has McPherson strut setup, look at getting one of these strut tower bars for your vehicle, because it will make it feel much sportier and it handles significantly better, whether you're just casually driving or you're putting it in the corners a little bit harder. So would definitely recommend looking at those, but honestly not too much, just regular maintenance type stuff that we've done, and some smaller stuff here and there, but pretty easy to work on too. One of the fun things with the Subarus is how easy everything is to access. I mean, you got, you know, oil filter right here. Don't mind how dusty everything is. You know, engine oil here, windshield wiper fluid, coolant. I mean, everything's just like all right here. You got your alternator here. I mean, everything's just super easy to access, and it makes it very easy to maintenance if you're doing it yourself, which I like. But one of the downsides also with it is that this car does like to burn oil. I think Subarus as a whole are known for burning oil, but I know that my car definitely also likes to eat the oil. The cars run very hot. My engine oil regularly is about 200 to 220 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very hot. And during the summer where we live, it gets very hot. So it runs sometimes even up to like 230 degrees, so you want to be checking your oil quite frequently on those. So that's going to be the tip with any Subaru, is just make sure that you stay topped up on your oil, because these things like to drink and burn their oil a little bit more than people like, but it's honestly not even that bad. And that is basically the review of the 2015 Subaru Impreza from our fleet. We do have some smaller stuff on here. I mean, I have like the Harbor Freight, I think it's Hallmaster, crossbars, and roof tray that I have added on. You know, I have like yellow fog lights. I put some Plasti Dip and black tape over the grill and fog light covers there just to make it look a lot better. But really, it's just super small stuff on the car. I don't want a ton of horsepower out of these. These motors don't get a lot of horsepower. They're NA. So really, it's, for me, it's just making it the most fun it can be and the most reliable it can be, and just kind of unique, honestly. I don't see a lot of these specific Imprezas on the road, and I definitely don't see a lot of them in manual or modified. So I really like how unique it is within the community of Subarus that is modified Subarus, and it, you know, it gets good gas mileage, and it's fun to drive, and it just puts a smile on my face every time I drive it, which to me is what matters, I would say, the most. And yeah, that's about it, honestly. So make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, you know, drop those in the section down below, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. But thank you all for watching. Be sure to tune in next week, and we'll catch you all later.